Okay, so this is part of paper 2, guys. Okay, so make a note of paper 2.
This is so one scary. Mine was so sticky. Mine was also weird. But mine was like this. So do you agree? I know.
Right, let's go.
Yeah, I suppose. But surprise. That's a real one. So these are this. And then the real, and then it's and then the tag, and then that was the policy.
That's all.
Nice.
That's all.
It's loading, okay.
It's better, man. No, you're sorry. And it's your geometry.
So shall I
Put it on,
You patient.
put it on TikTok. Yeah. I'll do some movies in the background, okay?
I didn't put it on. Yo, guys, does anyone
All right, this is everything. That's okay. So, guys, pause.
Waterfalls?
We're recording. Right, okay. So we will not comment on nature at this point. Right, if I have, what is analytical geometry? Geometry on the what?
On the graph.
On the Cartesian plane, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So they sometimes link up geometry and trig and analytical geometry or practical questions like that. Okay, all three get mixed up. But we're working essentially, we're on the Cartesian plane. So in your heading, where it says analytical geometry, you're on the Cartesian plane. Okay, so what have we done? Okay, I'm not going to do the revision now. Hey, what are the things we've done with analytical geometry up to this stage of the life? Midpoints. What is the formula for midpoints? These are all on your formula sheet. You've got x1. Right, so there's your midpoint, right? These are all the information sheets. Okay, right. Then we've got what? Your distance formula on the formula sheet that says this. Distance is equal to x2 minus x1 squared plus. Right? That gives you the distance between each points in the Cartesian plane. Yeah. It's not, tell me it's T2. We're in term 2, not 24.
Oh,
T4 is tested 4. No, there's only 3 tests.
Oh, okay. Oh, I was like.
Right. So then M is equal to y1 minus y2 over x1 minus. Yes. If lines are parallel, what do you know about their gradients? Parallel lines have the same gradients. Perpendicular lines. Flip it around and change the sign, right? So if the line has a gradient of a half, what's the gradient of a line perpendicular? Chicken jokes. Okay, all right. Okay, then on the Cartesian plane, that's x and y. What do we call that thing over there? Of the line? The angle of what?
Inflection.
No. Angle of inclination, right? Okay. And to find that angle, you use this formula. Gradient is equal to tan on the angle of inclination.
Yeah.
Yes, it's all there on your formula. Isn't that exciting? Okay. All right, but we're not going to get stuck on that now. Okay. So now we're looking at circles on the Cartesian plane. Okay. So the formula, okay, you don't have to write this down if you don't want to, but the formula for the circle on a Cartesian plane, guys, too many conversations, is if the center is at the origin, the formula is x squared plus y squared is equal to r squared. What do x and y stand for? X and y on any graph is any point on the circle. But on the circle, it doesn't mean them floating around in the middle, it means on the circumference of the circle. Okay. So any point on the circumference of the circle, okay, and R is equal to the radius. You've actually seen that formula before. Okay, we did a trick. Remember? What linked up X, Y, and R? X squared plus Y squared is always equal to.
Oh, oh my gosh,
So
what?
this formula comes from Pythag. You don't have to write it down. But basically, if you've got a circle and the center is at the origin, and you've got any point X, Y, okay, whether that point is over there, then this distance would be your radius, or the point could be over here, then that point is your radius. Okay, anyway, anyone in that circle, right? In all cases, it's possible to draw a right angle triangle. And when you square a number, it gets rid of the negative, right? Okay, that's why it doesn't matter whether the coordinates are negative or positive, but that would be X, that would be Y. And with Pythagoras, what do you know? X squared plus Y squared is equal to. Okay, so any point, if I use this one over here, the X coordinate is negative, but when you square it, it'll become positive, so it doesn't matter. So again, X squared plus Y squared would be equal to R squared. Any point that lies on the circumference of the circle would satisfy that equation. Okay.
The center at the origin.
Yes, we're going to worry about centers not at the origin just now. Okay, so for centers at the origin, okay, your formula is X squared plus Y squared is equal to R squared. What are X and Y stand for? Coordinates of any point. So this kind of combines a bit of geometry with algebraic graphs. With on any graph, if a point lies on the graph, what are we allowed to do? Substitute it into that equation. Wish? Okay. Right. So your objective, when you're finding the equation for anything, guys, if you're finding an equation for a straight line, what did we do always? We wrote down the general formula, and what was our objective? It was always to find a number for what is not an X or a Y, because those things are unique, unlike X and Y, of which there are millions. But here, you wanted to find M and C.
Yes.
If I gave you this, Y is equal to K over X minus P plus Q. What's your objective to find the equation? You've got to find K, you've got to find P, you've got to find Q. You with me? Yeah, it's the same kind of thing, but now our general formula is going to be, if the center is at the origin, okay, so for this first question A, determine the equation of a circle with the center in the origin and radius equal to 5. So what's your objective? Write down the general formula. X squared plus Y squared is equal to R squared. What do you have to find a number for? The thing which is not an X and a Y. So you need a number for R squared. So speak to your neighbor, what's the equation of that circle? We've got a circle with center at the origin, radius is equal to 5. So the equation is going to be X squared, which is just,
Yeah.
so that number there is not R, that number is R squared, right? Okay, so if you get given this formula, how do I recognize it? There's an X squared, there's a Y squared. What does a quadratic look like? It's not a Y squared, it's Y is equal to blah, 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 X squared. You with me? Yeah, it's the first time I've got an equation with an X squared and a Y squared, yeah? Depending on the equation. So here I just said, what's the equation? Okay, right, try B. Check with your neighbor.
The difference.
The different circle.
I worry.
Right. So you've got a circle, center at the origin, radius R. So tell you what's the formula for the circle, center, origin, radius R. Okay. How can I answer? What's my objective? What do I want to find a number for? I want to find a number for r squared, right? Okay. Suggestions, Abel? Sub in any point that lies on the circle. So you end up with okay, so 20 is equal to r squared. Right, so what's the formula? Nice. Okay. If I said to you, what's the radius of that circle, what would it be? Okay. Square root of 20. You with me?
Yes.
Okay, okay. So from the one each. And did you get birthday present?
Yeah,
Did you keep your last night?
yeah.
Aww.
You like that.
Sorry, I had a surprise party yesterday.
Oh, nice.
Did you speak your last month? That's not right.
It's a right.
All right.
Sounds like matter. Oh, BLM.
Okay, everyone got that?
Yes.
Okay, right. So now, I'm not gonna, okay. You want me to explain the formula or do you just believe me?
That's why I was here.
Okay, all right. Okay, so the general formula, okay, for the circle centered not at the origin, but at, just add this in, at AB. So AB is a coordinates, when we talk about AB, it's the coordinates of the center of the circle. I'm going to quickly explain it because I hate just thinking. Okay, now I have to write this down. But say I have a center AB, right? So now the circle is over there. Right? The center of the circle, which we're often going to call M now. Okay, if it's not at the origin, we often call the center of the circle M. Doesn't have to be, but often we do. Capital M. Right? And then I have a circle with a radius of R. Okay. So here's our circle. Okay. The points on this, so we could have a radius of R there, whatever. We want a formula which links up, which will be consistent for the relationship between any point on the circumference, right?
Yeah, well.
Okay. If I call this M and I call all of these points A. Okay. Between what the distance between M and A is the same no matter where A is, do you agree?
Yeah.
And the distance is the same thing as the radius, right? So the distance from M to A is equal to your radius. Do you agree with that? Where A is any point on the circumference. Okay, there are an infinite number of A's. But that is always true. Capish? Distance formula says, go to your formula sheet. It says distance is equal to what?
2 minus x1 squared plus y2 minus y1.
Okay, right, you happy that that's the distance formula? Okay, so if I call this point over here, the center x1, y1, and I call this point over here x2, y2, all of them. Okay, then what's the distance of MA going to be? Come on, try. In this particular case,
I'm going to stop it and make this into x2, y2.
well, the formula for using x2 minus x1.
He's not here, but can I get back? Tests or not?
Oh, shit. Again, back one, but I've collected them again.
It's fine.
Yeah, but if she's going to write if she wants to, but it's not going to go into portfolio. Okay, but yeah, you can give them the test, but then collect them back. Okay. Right. So here, okay. Right, so if I go distance is equal to x2 minus x1 squared plus y2 minus y1 squared, right? What's x2? It's just x in all the cases, right? Okay, capish? I'm saying the distance between all these points is radius. Okay, so x, y stands for any point on the circumference, right? So if I use x2 minus x1, it's going to be, sorry, what's it going to be? Going to be x minus what?
A.
X minus a squared, where a is what? A is the x coordinate of the center of the circle, right? Okay, plus, okay, y2, which is y, minus y1, which is b. So the square root of x minus a squared plus y minus b squared will always be equal to r, because it's on a circle. The distance between m and a is consistently r, if it's a circle. Kavish? Now, if I square both sides of the equation, I'm left with x minus a squared plus y minus b squared is equal to r squared. And that's where the formula comes from. Okay, so the formula, okay, for any circle with AB is what? What does A and B stand for? Center of the circle, coordinates of the center, right?
Yeah.
So with center AB, what do X and Y stand for? The X and Y coordinates of any point on the circumference. Are X and Y unique? No, there are infinite number of X and Y values which satisfy that. Are A and B unique?
Yes.
Is the radius unique?
Yes.
Yes. So that's why you find the unique values when you find an equation. Okay. So over here, we'll have a break soon. Okay. It says here, determine the equation of the circle with center minus 1, 3 and radius 2 root 3. So when you're asked to find the equation of the circle with center is not at the origin, you go to your formula sheet. It's over here on your formula sheet. Okay, on your formula sheet, it is right at the bottom of the first page.
Oh, wow.
Okay, it says x minus a squared plus y minus b squared is equal to r squared. So what's your objective when you find an equation? What do you remind yourself? You've got to find a number for things which are not x's and y's. Mx plus c, you have to find m and c.
Yes.
So now what do you have to find? A?
And R.
That's your objective. Find a, b, and r.
Mm-hmm.
Alex, do I know a and b? Okay, what's a, b? So it's going to become the minus 1, 3 is AB, so it's going to become x minus, x minus minus 1 becomes what? So they're always the opposite sign. What's in the equation is opposite. Okay, the opposite sign to the actual center, right? So if it's plus 1 in the equation, on the actual circle, the center is minus 1, right? And for the y's as well, so it's going to be plus. So you should be able to look at an equation and say, what's the center if I just gave you the equation? Opposite signs, right? The x coordinate of the center originally is minus 1, and the y coordinate would be, of the center would be opposite sign.
Positive 3.
Okay. And so it's equal to r squared. So I'm not quite done. Why? Okay, we have r. Okay. R is equal to what? Sorry. 2 root 3.
Wait.
I left my square sign out. Okay. So it's going to be plus is equal to, we've got the radius. The radius is 2 root 3. Right? So you're just going to leave it like this. Are you with me, Ridra?
Great.
Okay, x plus 1 squared plus y minus 3 squared.
Yeah.
So we don't make
What's
our
two?
12.
What's 2 root 3 all squared?
12.
How would you do that without a calculator?
My head.
You go 2 squared is 4.
Times the square and the cancel. What? 4
Come.
times 3.
4 times 3 is 12, right? You them separately. Okay, 2 squared is 4, root 3 squared is 3.
Oh, yeah.
Okay,
Got it.
all right.
Where you want me to get?
Okay, so I end up, there's my equation of the circle.
That's such an ugly one.
So we leave it there.
That's it, done.
Okay, we'll just leave it in.
That's all, yes.
So can we do revision on that? Angle of.
Later, when we need.
No, sorry. So do we have to leave it as
That, leave it like that.
12 or do we leave it as?
No, the number that goes there is 2 root 3 squared. I would leave, yes, leave it as 12.
Okay.
Simplify. Okay,
Just simplify the radius when you're asking for the equation.
all right, then, is at the end of that page.
Yeah. I really like this sweater. Can I have it?
Can I have? Our view, our view.
Right,
Can I have that sweater?
this one. I wait now.
So do you?
Right.
On the weekends.
On the weekends you wear shorts.
Okay, right. Right, try that one.
Why did the school when I never know what I should use in the same picture? It's really tall.
Yeah, somebody, I'm looking at these students.
No, no, I'm so cool. They don't want to use them.
Try that one.
They'll always give you the center, right?
Just deal with what they're giving you now. Okay. What's our first step? It was what?
So our first step is to write down the equation of a circle.
Which is?
Brackets x minus 8 squared
Yeah.
plus y brackets, sorry,
You
y,
have to say the word bracket, it's fine. Plus y minus b squared.
yeah, is equal to r squared.
Right,
So then what? Oh,
okay, then go from there. I think it didn't work this year for you guys.
What
It got easier after the June exams.
Yeah,
I just have to.
Okay. Anyway, right, okay.
Come on my eBay.
So this is A, B, but it will be easier after.
It's not. It's not.
Prelims will be easier.
Oh.
Of course they're easier. Right, okay, right, class.
Nothing is easy, bro.
X plus 2 squared.
No, the more you try, the more easier it
Do you have the
gets to find.
giggles today?
Okay, thank you for that, Rudra. Right, so I get X, you're all happy up to there.
Yeah.
X plus 2 squared, so what else can I have to find a number for? R squared, right? But am I given R each time? But what can I do, Paris?
You can plug in the point that's at the circumference.
So in this case, what's the coordinates of that point?
-4.
Yeah, boy, -4, -1, right, well done, right. So replace X with -4, Y with -1, and go get the number for R squared. And so your final answer is going to end up being X plus 2 squared plus Y minus 2 squared, and over here, you're going to write whatever R squared works out to be.
You just write this R squared, you don't have to find out.
Huh? Wait, what did you just say? Wait, I'm using my calculator.
Sorry? You could find all using a distance formula, yep. No, it shouldn't be. It'll be exactly the same.
That answer, square it.
Go to square that, the distance formula gives you the radius. You square it, okay, so I would just sub in this point into the equation.
Yeah.
But you could use the distance formula, but if I do this way, I get -4 plus 2 squared plus -1 minus 2 squared is R squared. -4 plus 2 is -2, -2 squared is 4, -3 squared is 9. So you get R squared is equal to 13. If you use the distance formula, you should get this distance for the radius is root 13. So then the equation is going to go root squared. So here's your equation. X plus 2 squared plus Y minus 2 squared is 13.
Okay.
It's similar to that.
No, it's not to be practice, but the first phase of the hour is gonna be announcements on this week.
Oh.
In the past week.
Oh, really? I am so scared.
I'm bored. No, I really don't know. I don't know.
Is that for sure?
Yeah.
Okay, then I'm gonna send a message.
You know.
I normally know, but today I don't know. Okay, right.
Please get on. Get on.
Right. Last, no, example 4.
I'm telling you to get on it again. Like catch up to get on. Very go.
Is everyone happy with that question? Okay.
No.
Right, last example, then we have a break. Example 4. Okay, so guys, this is a common question and it's not bad, but you miss out on things. Okay, the point is this. So draw a little sketch of what's going on there. A rough sketch, not a neat sketch.
Pencil. What are you talking? No, you need sketch. What?
A rough sketch.
Like I did with girl. Yeah, that's funny.
All graphs are beautiful in their own way.
I love that. Where's my card?
To give them.
That's what I didn't ask us. It's so
Yes, Kamal, well done. You did right.
Why TJ?
So, take credit where it's not you. Kamal. You've got to learn to do that. Right, so guys, you've got. Okay, you've got a circle, which looks like a, okay? Right, and you're told that K and M, you don't normally have to draw a diagram for this. This thing is the diameter. Okay, and if that's the diameter, okay, where does it go through? The center of the circle, right? Okay, and the center of the circle will be the midpoint of its diameter. So I want you to make a big note over here. NB, the midpoint of a diameter is always the center of that circle.
That's a long sentence.
The midpoint of a diameter is always the center of the circle. Right, so go find the center of that circle.
Guess what we do?
If you've got 2 marks where it says how do you find your average? You add them up and divide it by 2, that's midpoint. Add them up and divide it by 2. So I'm going to call the center of the circle M.
No, I just. That is what happens in the slow right here. Just because I'm nasty doesn't mean.
No.
Yeah. Whatever the case. We're not paying.
All I would do is.
Just because I'm nasty, you think you can say whatever to me.
All right, so come on, son.
Yeah, but.
What's the center going to be?
Easy, I'm calculating now.
It's what's that, you know?
Thanks, man.
It's 1.
The x value is -1. And then the other value is 1. -1 and 1.
Wow, you're smart.
-1 and 1. Correct.
Yes.
Okay.
And go to the queen's house.
So M is -1 and 1.
Isn't she there?
Okay. Guys, just for the midpoint, you write M, you don't write M is equal to like I did over here. Okay, we just write the letter and then in brackets next to it, because I was doing it on it. Okay. Right, so now my center is -1, 1.
Okay.
Okay, but the question was find the equation of the circle, right? Alright, off you go.
Okay. Yeah. No.
That's to show all that working for the center. What takes place around the feet, did you say?
Tomorrow I've got French, then on Wednesday I've got English.
Tails.
Are your feet all done now? How did the pieces go?
You're so good. You know my product, I was told by my teacher that I must go copyright it because of how good my idea. No, for real, you're so good, so good. Thank you. Thank you so much. So I'll split you later.
Alright, so the general formula for the equation of a circle, please. I don't know, someone.
Actually started my speech.
So anyway, formula is what?
X minus B squared plus Y minus B squared was to ask.
Why you said it?
Right? Do we know A and B?
Yes.
That's going to become what?
X plus 1 squared plus Y minus 1 squared equals R squared.
Right. So now do I sub in 3, 4 or -5, -2?
Either.
Either. Nobody knows. Okay, right.
So is a circle a function?
No. Why? Because every x goes to more than one high value. A vertical line. That's why I can never write the circle as f of x, guys.
I was
Because it's
wondering.
not a function.
Do you
Okay.
breaks anymore?
We're having a break now. Okay. So
That's so funny.
I'm gonna submit 3, 4. Right, submit 3, 4, solve it on. Don't forget to write down your final answer for the question.
Okay.
Sorry, it wasn't meant to.
No, it's fine, man. I'm
So what's outside?
That's question.
still gonna figure it out.
Yeah. Yes.
Okay, 16 plus 9 is 25, eh?
Yeah.
So my final answer, a lot of people get here and they forget to write the final answer.
Yeah, KJ.
So where must you go and flow? One.
So I get x plus 1 squared,
Okay.
here's your final answer.
Actually, congrats.
So we must never find just
They say I'll say fine, Paul. Right, Homo sapiens, it's 9:14 and because it's from Elizabeth, I'll give you a 5-minute break.
so well.
Congrats to us.
So like very sentimental.
And I'm gonna do all.
I'm Katie. I'm Katie. Let's have something. I'm Jason.
I'm feeling so cold.
No.
No. Because I'm fine for that.
But I'm leaving outside.
Imagine, I tried to get you stuck in 2 weeks of my life. You know,
Wow, like yes,
but
Okay, next week, did you see this weekend? Oh my gosh, I really like it. It's all the same. Giving it a couple of you go to the.
Yeah.
And it is. It's so cute. I love it so much. So why don't you help on you? That's not bad for you. Yeah, I like that. Yeah.
Mara, why don't you like that? No, yeah, I need to go refresh.
You've been the car. Yeah.
So make sure.
Okay. Just at the end of the year, you got it.
Right, let's go guys. It's not, this is not 15, promise you. Right, okay, otherwise we don't get breaks. Okay, so what I'm gonna do is instead of doing individual sums, what tends to happen, you get an exercise, it's exactly the same, you pass with the same, pass with the same, pass with the same.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm actually, the more I teach, the more I'm realizing what's better. Is we're gonna go through all the notes, then we're gonna do that big examination focus exercise.
That's
So,
perfect.
because in the exam, you have to start to recognize what to use when.
Yeah.
You do one from the exercise and then another 10, which I did.
So-
Actually, after you've done 2,
You
you
know.
know what you do.
Well, what I'm hearing is that the kids next year have an advantage. Daddy has a
Right, let's have a look at this. Okay. Okay. All right, so now we're gonna give it an equation, we're gonna work in the other direction. Okay, we've got an equation, okay, and we're gonna have to find the center and the radius. Okay, so Don't try to do A.
And it's growing.
It's how. It's very relaxed.
Yeah.
Okay,
Did you cut it? Yeah.
so remember, that's our general formula for any circle. Okay, so it's like x minus a squared plus y minus b squared is equal to r squared.
Yes.
So if it's, you say you forgot the general formula for center at the origin, all this means is you've got x minus naught squared plus y, you don't have to write this down. Okay, just in case you forget the general thing, you should know that if it's x squared plus y squared, the center is what? So what's the center? 0, 0, in other words. The center, the coordinates of the center is 0, 0. If it's just x squared plus y squared, your center is the origin. Fish?
Oh, I see what you mean.
Well, then I had to write that. That's what you're.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't have done that next step. I would have just said this center is 0, 0. And what, go write down what your radius is. Can a radius be negative?
No, it actually making.
Hang on, it's a distance, right?
Yeah. Wait, it can.
So R can't be, a radius can't be negative, it's distance. Because normally if x squared is 16, what is x? Plus or minus 4, right?
Yes.
But in this case, because radius is always positive, if r squared is 16, r has to just be 4.
Oh.
Perfect.
Oh, that's strange.
Like,
It was.
can I just picture a teacher award or something? Like, best teacher of the year, let's go. We should get those awards. We're gonna give him a cups too.
Yeah, and yeah, and
Do
so
something.
but something have that into the
That's the one.
Yes, can we have that? That's just like you must have that.
yeah, we should have
So give him the whole group.
And that's what it's supposed to
All right,
money.
let's go to B.
Okay, but it's all fair, that's right.
Right, no, B.
So wait, they asked me that. What
What does the question say? Tell me the question. So the coordinates of the center and the length of the radius. So
Oh,
what does,
we did that.
yeah, we did it. The center was 0, 0 and the radius was 4.
Wow.
Good time, guys. Exactly.
Wow.
Like, you so effortless with you.
Now, why a purple and a blue hero? But do they have different functions?
I always use the blue.
I worry for this man.
I hear you.
You know, I have a
You're gonna start this.
A lucky title.
And I know I use that same highlighter and it says maybe somehow.
That's so good.
In fact,
Or maybe it's just going to
Six.
right, okay, right.
It's
So,
looking good.
where's they go?
Hello.
In this case, what's the center gonna be? If, what does the negative mean? Negative means the opposite sign, right?
Yes.
In algebra. So what's the center gonna be?
So will it be,
The center is x minus
yeah,
the
so it'll
center.
just be 4 negative.
Good. You all happy with that, guys? The center is the opposite to the equation, right? So if it's x minus a squared, minus a means the opposite sign to what it is, right? So your center is 4, negative 3,
Yeah.
okay? And Lola, what's the radius gonna be? Okay, so the radius is gonna be root 80, which is gonna be 3, 9 times 2, which is 3 root 2.
Wow.
Mama, get it. Yeah, no. What's it said? Said so.
Wait, how much did it over neck?
Yeah.
Oh, that's somebody.
I personally don't feel last 50 minutes.
Radius.
And was
But when you.
Right, so you're all happy with A and B? Right, now it becomes interesting. Okay, right, I need your attention now. So, in question 3, you've got to find the equation of the center of the circle. Okay, but the center of the circle always has to be able to be written ultimately as x something squared, right? And y something squared. So the first thing you must do, get all your x's and your y's together and the numbers on the other side. Okay, so it's I'm going to rewrite this as x squared minus 6x
Perfect.
plus y squared plus 5y is equal to 4. So x is together, y is together. Okay. Now I've got to write this as something squared plus something squared. So, wait, is equal, so I'm going to have x something squared, y something squared is equal to 4, okay, plus, I'm going to balance, plus, I'm going to balance again.
What?
Explain it now.
You're not talking, you know that.
We'll just wait, listen, okay? Right, so you're going to balance this thing up. You're going to unbalance the equation, actually like completing the square, okay? So, when I do this, okay, right, I have this over here.
Good morning.
Well, Mr. Delivery has arrived. Right, okay. Right. Right, so here, okay. Right, listen up. Okay. When I square something up, just look here. If I have a plus b squared, what's a plus b squared? It's a squared. How do I get the middle term? I times them together and divide it by, and times them together and multiply by 2 always, right? Okay, so here, if I want to end up with negative 6x, I'm always going to divide this number, the coefficient by 2. So it's got, what's negative 6 divided by 2? Negative 3. Now, everyone with me up to there? Okay, so I've got the x's together. I've got the y's together. Okay? I recognize I've got to have some x something squared plus y something squared y. Because in order to find the center of a circle, I've got to rewrite it in that format. X minus the number squared plus y minus the number squared is equal to r squared. Finish. So I force this minus 3 into the sum. I call this the force and balance method. Okay, so I force in minus 3, right? Okay, how do I get that minus 3? Always by dividing by 2. Now if I square this back up, I get x squared, which I had, right? Okay, times them together times by 2, I get minus 6x, which I had, right? But what have I added to the left-hand side now, which wasn't there before?
6x, 9.
I've added minus 3 squared. What's minus 3 squared? Plus 9, right? So if you think of on the left-hand side of the equation, think of those old weights. I've added 9, right?
So now.
I've unbalanced the equation. So what must I do on the other side? I must also add 9. So I've got to add 9 in over here, right?
Yeah.
So now that balances that out. In pencil, try to the next bracket. Speak to your neighbor.
Okay, so we're gonna say 5 to well, we're gonna have to balance it after square, yeah. So that would be.
It's going to be a fraction.
Okay.
Really need that before.
No, understood.
Leave it as a fraction.
Fractions make me so insecure.
You're not the only one. Right, so Rujwa. Okay. What's the coefficient of y in this case? Okay, if I divide that by 2, I get 5 over 2, right? And there's a plus sign, so I keep the plus signs. On this side, it's always going to be pluses, guys, because when I square a negative, it becomes a positive, right?
Okay.
If I times this together, what do I get? Y squared times them together, I get 5y over 2 times 2 is 5y.
Yeah.
But then the constants, how have I unbalanced this by how much? How much have I added to the left-hand side? 25 over 4, right? So I've got to add. Right, now I'll simply go add those together on your calculator.
Oh.
Adding, you with me? Because always it's going to be adding on the right-hand side. Okay, because even if this is negative, I've added 9 to the left, I must add 9. Think of those old scales, you've got to balance them out. Yeah. That's nice. Okay. Stick that into your calculator.
377.
Yeah.
77 over 4.
Yeah, well, it's for the first time she's right. Wow. Wow.
Okay, all right, so you've done the hard part. So now go write down the coordinates of the center. and go write down what the radius is.
Sorry. Someone will worry a lot about you.
Don't worry about them. Don't worry about me. Worry about yourself.
Also worry about myself.
Like the king of the world.
Not from the world, maybe of Switzerland.
I actually do not live in
Right. So, Parrot, what's the center?
Will it be 3 and -5 will be 2?
Wait, if you feel this price, can I be like 20?
Okay, 3. Okay, when you have an Instagram that, whoever is the most famous person on Instagram, you can have that name. Right, I mean, on, where does she follow you?
TikTok.
TikTok.
I'm telling you now, I'm calling it right now and it's
No,
on record. My
that's-
brother is the most famous
Okay.
person.
Right.
He will be the most.
Right, so now, if I square root, but that number is what? Is that the radius?
No.
That number is your radius square, so your radius is root 77 over. Right, well done, guys.
While we work hard, guys.
You know, I have this parents event that is not famous. But not actually No, I got my parents event. I know that's very odd.
Did everyone give me the tip back?
I give you. I give you this wrong.
Bye-bye, guys.
Bye-bye, everybody.
They want the hope.
Don't be a loser.
Oh, that's really fascinating. I hope they're not the Lord. So do you want the extra one?
No.